if you've performed the jump before and you know you're capable of that, then it takes away a lot of that risk, and it probably also eases a lot of your nerves. Where get you to
Correct.
a point where you're not overly anxious, where your state anxiety is not excessive to the point where you're going to screw the jump up or the maneuver up.
Yeah, it's really important to not be in that adrenal state and to not be
Yeah.
a kind of out of body experience when you're doing it. You actually want to be zen or in the flow state that they describe in a lot of like professional
So
sport.
optimal arousal is kind of like the word they use, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's the and that's that before when I was talking about being at the top and you riding that moment, that feeling, that
Yeah.
understanding or intuition around it. It is like that optimal arousal, making sure that you are completely zoned in. You're not too far this way. You're not too far shy or north. You know, you really want to be in the zone, understanding and keeping the structure simple around it. Like I find I'm less of an adrenaline junkie or less of an adrenaline based like athlete than people think. Like I like doing the big
Yeah.
scary things, but for me, feeling the sense of control and feeling the sense of like solidarity when I'm
Yeah.
doing the
Yeah.
moves is more important to me. Is like I'd rather be able to do it off the cuff than have to really work myself up and get
Yeah. Yeah.
anxious in a state to do that.
Does it ever feel autonomous? Are you always challenging yourself to a point where, things can get a little bit hairy, or you're still learning new maneuvers? I think that's probably probably gonna say that that's the challenge of it all. But I imagine there's some other easier movements
There
that you
is
perform. Yeah.
there was a shift. I remember, I think for me, it was about year 14 or 15 of training where there was a clear shift where it stopped being, will this work? And it's like, if I do this right, it will work. Like it
Right.
became much more of a digestible product. And I'm always still pushing myself. As I said, this week I had an accident, really just pushing my level to the absolute limit. Fortunately, it didn't come clean of it, but like no matter what you do within the sport, how you choose to practitioner it is really up to the individual. So I would say I take more risk than the average athlete, and that's been one of my calling cards and why I've become so successful. But that's never been the motivation. It's just how I'm wired. Bringing it back to that question you said before, I uh, I think when it comes to pushing your own level, you can decide when you want to do it in parkour as opposed to a traditional sport where you've got game day, you've got a competition, that sort of thing.